Alright, let's see what he sent me today. Okay. Wait, low-key, I should probably lock in right now. I got things to do. Yeah, I should. Alright, let's see. So this is what we're doing. Wasn't that a familiar sight? I think we've all had moments where we were just a bum and chud for a day, doing nothing with the time that we were given, and just sitting there rotting out. And deep down, I think we all know that this is a pretty cooked way to live. That's why I feel, at least for myself, I go completely ballistic when I catch myself doing this kind of thing, and I genuinely just go insane. The kind of videos that you see on the platforms that we're mostly on should go on to tell you how cooked the generation is. And it's us that contribute to this very thing. 42,000 people like this video, and I'm probably gonna be one of them if it wasn't for the sake of this video. So, you should really be able to see how cooked this generation is just through yourself alone. And these addictions, I would say they're addictions at this point, have gotten pretty rampant to the point that people are actually justifying the fact that 5 to 6 hours on any platform is okay. And I think the reason for that is because, well, simply, everybody has them. It's not easy to justify your addictions and your bad habits when every single other person on this earth has them. So in comparison, it doesn't seem that bad, but objectively, it's pretty cooked. And amen to what he just said. It's actually pretty simple, you know. Every case where a drug addict got better, it was from abstinence. So taking whatever they have in their hands fixes whatever that is. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's Lent for Christians. Now, some of you might not know what that is, but it's essentially the Christian equivalent of Ramadan. We don't specifically just have to give up food, but it could be a lot of other things that we just personally think that we need to cut out from our life. Say, for example, music. But some of you aren't gonna be Christian, and some of you don't even wanna fast, because what's the point, right? But I definitely think you should fast regardless of that, and here's a couple of reasons why. Firstly, I've already mentioned how cooked the current generation is. And it's because we've desensitized ourselves to dopamine high things. And that's one of the big things that fasting gives you. You resensitize yourself to those things. It's like playing the same song 100 times over. You listen to that thing over 100 times, it's gonna get pretty stale, and you're not gonna get that same first hit when you first heard the song. First listen was a banger. 100th listen actually just sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Now, the second reason why I say you should fast is because of time, all right? A lot of people spend a lot of time on stupid things, and it's taking up a lot of their life. Example 1, doom scrolling. 5 hours on Instagram is not it, bro. Imagine what you could do with 5 hours of time, an extra 5 hours in your day. Probably a lot, right? So, you know, if those two reasons aren't enough, I don't know what will. So how do you fast successfully from something? Well, as someone who fasted from food for 8 months, not continuously, but I've basically been doing 22-hour fast daily, and so I've been living easy mode Ramadan for basically 8 months now. And it definitely wasn't easy because I'm a big food person, but there were a couple things that really helped me get through this. And so the first thing that you gotta consider is what you actually wanna fast from. Because when I fasted from food, it was because I genuinely wanted to do this. 1, to make me more productive, and 2, to help me lose weight. So it's gotta come from a very personal reason, and a reason that you actually wanna follow through with. You don't just go and fast from something that you see other people are doing as well, which I highly doubt other people are fasting, or a bunch of other people are fasting around you, but make that thing that you're abstaining from very personal and deep. The second thing that helped me fast from food was filling up that time with something else. So instead of eating, a lot of the times I would spend my time doing something productive. So I found that when I was doing work or doing something productive, my appetite would typically get curbed. So I wouldn't think about eating, right? My mind's just too focused on the task at hand, and I can't find myself eating in the moment because I want to get something done. So fill up that time with something that prevents or kind of blocks out the temptation to do that thing, right? Or it could be the polar opposite of that thing. So say for example, you're trying to fast from social media, right? Social media is in essence consuming media, consuming information. Now instead of finding your phone to consume media, maybe find another outlet to consume media, either reading books, right? Something that's healthier and a better alternative for you to spend that time on instead. And the third and most important thing that I think you gotta keep in mind when you fast, and that really helped me to actually make my fast successful, is to reflect post-fast. Because you don't fast for just the sake of fasting. You do it for some other reason. Whether it's, resensitizing yourself or just taking yourself away from something that you know is taking over your life and just not a good influence. You have to have some sort of post-reflection, understand, what did I learn? How can I re-engage with this thing a little bit better? Because if you just end your fast and go back into it like nothing ever changed, you basically fasted for nothing. What I've taken personally away from fasting from food is just to be more grateful and eat with more gratitude, right? Each and every meal that I have feels like it tastes the best thing on earth. Even mud would taste probably pretty decent at the end of my fast because I know that I'm only eating when I need to, right? I'm creating a system essentially where I want to be more grateful for the things that I'm given, right? The things that I put into my body and the things that I do. Because each and every moment I get is a blessing, and the same goes for food. So that's my personal reason for fasting from food and what I've really learned to do. And after you're doing it for a while, you will realize that things are different. You see things differently. You approach it in such a way where you're no longer gorging food, but you look at it and genuinely appreciate it for what it is.